Hello, my name is Lisa, aka Cinnamon, and I would like to thank Cherie Johnson for asking me to talk about the topic of alopecia, which is an autoimmune disease, which I actually experienced for myself. I've been dealing with alopecia for almost four years now. It started back March of 2015 when I first shaved my head bald, but it's not when I first started experiencing alopecia. Now, alopecia, for those of you who don't know, is partial or complete loss of hair from areas of your body where it normally would grow, and which will end up being, baldness. There's many types of alopecia, from alopecia areata, totalis, traction. Sometimes alopecia is called, which traction is caused by, people, where we, years of abuse to our own hair, as far as pulling and chemicals and things of that nature, but then also it can be hereditary. So it's many types of alopecia. But as I mentioned, I decided to, break free. I call it break free. And I learned to love the skin that I was in March of 2015. And before then, dealing with hair loss can be very detrimental to a person's self-esteem and how they feel about their self, because as a society, we're always told that beauty should be the way we look or our hair, and not that we should love ourselves for who we are, love the skin that you're in. So it took a lot for me to learn that beauty is more than my hair. Learning to love the skin that I'm in, it was a very hard thing to do, especially when I never believed, that I'm beautiful without having to have hair, So, and it goes way back from childhood, actually. And some people, don't realize that. But as youngsters and growing up, we see commercials, our parents and, people around us, getting our hair done, going to school. And so you think, well, as a young person, me, myself, I think I started, maybe 5 or 6 when my mother put the first perm in my hair. So from there, my hair went from crinkly to straight. So growing up and going to school, I'm thinking, okay, well, my hair has to be straight. It has to be done. Natural was not the way, was not it back then. From what I was brought up to, believe. So as years went by, I always had my hair done. I always went to a hairdresser. I had the latest cuts, the styles, and, you could never ever find me without my hair done. And so, as I became an adult and I had children, something happened. I don't know what happened after I had my second child, my daughter, which is now, she'll be 22 this year. After I had her, I started noticing that my hair was thinning. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, what is going on? It started at the top of my head. I don't know if it came from a perm or pulling. I was getting braids. But then it got to a point where I had to wear my hair in certain hairstyles in order to cover the, the bald spot in the top of my head. And then it started even getting worse, where it started thinning around my edges, and I noticed different spots in my head. But that was the worst. I mean, you're talking about the worst feeling in the world is for a woman, for anyone that, so used to having hair to actually start losing their hair. It didn't do anything for my self-esteem. My self-esteem just dropped to the bottom. So I would have to start wearing wigs. I had so many wigs. I mean, matter of fact, I still have a bag full of wigs, that lace front wigs. I had, I always made sure I had the nicest wigs to wear to cover up, my bald patches. Or, I didn't even want my family, no one close to me, to actually see the spots in my head. So I always would wear a scarf, even in a house. That's how I felt. And at that time, I was married at the time, when I was really dealing with my hair loss heavy. And it doesn't pay to have your self-esteem drop even lower when someone criticizes you for your hair loss, whether it's in arguments or not, because that make you even feel worse, because you like, hey, if this person's supposed to love me, how could they like talk about me? So that didn't help me at all. But I have to say, one day I had inspiration come to me, which I have to say that it was the best thing that happened in my life. It's funny to even mention it, but it was from a TV show, which a lot of people look at, called Empire with Taraji Henson. And it was this lady on there called V. Bozeman, and she was a singing on Empire, and she was singing a song, What Is Love? But when I seen her, I was like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. I mean, with her bald head, pretty dark complexion, and and her beauty just stood out, and it didn't even matter that she didn't have hair. And so I was like, a light bulb went off, and I was like, I wonder how I would look if I just shaved my hair off. And so I said, I'm gonna try it. So I said, actually that weekend I set out to do that. I went straight to the store, bought me a pair of trimmers, and I went into the bathroom and I shaved my hair. And I was like, and I said, well, I would just wear my hair like that in the house. That way I wouldn't have to wear a scarf on my head around my family or nothing like that. But I would not go outside the house with my bald head. But once I sent the picture of my bald head, I was to my best friend, and I wanted her to see how it looked. And she was like, oh my God, it looked nice, Lisa. You should wear it to the brunch, which was that Sunday. What we have is a line dance brunch, because I teach line dancing, and that's another thing. I got tired of wearing wigs to different line dance events because they get so sweaty, and and a lot of times I'll be changing them, taking one off, putting another one on, because they be so wet from me sweating and everything. But that particular weekend, after I had shaved my head, that Sunday was coming up. It was a line dance brunch. And so once I sent her the picture, she was like, you should wear your hair to the brunch like that. And that was March of 2015. And I said, I'm not wearing my hair like this. I'm not wearing no bald head into the brunch, to no line dance brunch. And so I was thinking about it. And I asked a close friend of mine at the time, I said, what do you think I should? Do you think I should try to wear my, wear my hair like this? And she was like, well, you do whatever you think, you want to do. It really is up to you. And so I just went along with what my best friend said. And so I was really scared, as I don't know what, to walk into that venue with my bald head. But I gathered up the courage and I went. And it was so funny how, because that Friday before, that brunch happened on a Sunday, but that Friday before I was just at work and I had on this long lace front wig. But when I went into that brunch, I didn't have anything. and I started dancing. And people was looking. A lot of people didn't even know who I was. They didn't even know who I was. And so this one lady came up to me. She said, Lisa, she said, I did not know that was you. She said, I was wondering who that bald-head girl was dancing all across the floor, dancing all in the front like that. She said, but Lisa, let me tell you something. Now I looked at her. She looked at me. She said, let me tell you something. She said, you do not need no wig on. She said, your face, and she said, you can see your face so clear, it's beautiful. All that hair is just, it just hides your beauty. And I think that was like the best thing I heard. It really did a lot for me. My heart just started smiling, and I just couldn't believe she had said that. And she wasn't the only person that said that. When I was there, they was like, but they still was in shock to see me coming there with like no hair, you know, because everyone was so used to me always having long, pretty lace fronts, wigs, and, you know, and everything. And, you know, so that was like the starting point for me. And so from that day forward, actually, that's when that started the road to me not even wearing lace fronts anymore. So that Monday was the next hurdle. I was like, can I go to work like this? You know, so my line dance friends, my family, then my line dance friends seeing me without, you know, the lace front wig. Now the next hurdle is going to work. So I went to work that Monday, and the looks I got, you know, it was like double look. And it's like, one of my coworkers like, what? You cut your hair off? You know, but of course, a lot of people think, you know, when they see you without hair or you cut your hair, the first thing they think maybe you sick, you know, like I may have cancer or, you know, something like that. And sometimes they may not have come to me and ask me. They may whisper to somebody else or ask somebody else because they may not want to confront me, like asking me, are you okay? Are you sick? But a couple of my close friends at work that knew the real reason that I cut my hair, shaved my hair, was because of the alopecia. You know, they told other people, well, no, she's not sick. She just cut her hair because of her hair loss problem with alopecia, you know, autoimmune disease with hair loss. So that was a really big shocker for a lot of my coworkers when I went to work. And then once that day happened, it was all uphill. All uphill after that. It was like, you know, I said, well, okay, well, at least I have the choice of whether I would like to wear wigs or not. So I can either wear a wig or I don't wear a wig. You know, it's up to me, because I didn't want to get rid of my wigs, but I wanted to be able to have the option of wearing one if I wanted to or not wearing one. And I got to the point where, like, certain events where they make calls for you having a wig on, which is so funny. I think it was Halloween, and I dressed up and I put a wig on. Before the night was over, they look at me like, some people that may have never seen me before, it was a shock because I had the wig on for the event, but before the event was over, I was like, I done pulled the wig off. I was like, because it was too hot and my head needed to breathe, you know. So I love being able to love myself for the way I am, the skin that I'm in, without having to worry about me, you know, what other people think. I don't care, no hair, don't care, or anything like that, you know. So, and I'm grateful for finally being able to do that, of being able to love myself without worrying about, you know, what other people think of me or how they see me or view me. You know, that's the first thing you have to do, is to love who you are. Whether you have hair, you don't have hair, whether you're fat, skinny, small, or anything. And sometimes a lot of us don't do that until, years. As an adult. People grow old sometimes without ever actually learning to love themselves from who they are. And I'm grateful to that aspect. I wouldn't change a thing, but I can tell you the best. I can tell you the best feeling I got from shaving my head bald the first time. I mean, the best feeling in the world was when right after I shaved my head bald, I went and took a shower. I stood in the shower, stood right up under the shower head, and I just let the water just run straight down on my head. And you talking about a good feeling. I mean, that was the best feeling in the world. And from that day until this day, when I get in the shower, you know, to be able to feel that hot water, the water just run down on my head, it feels like a cleansing moment. It's I can't even explain the feeling. So, and it just seemed like it has opened up a lot for me to be able to do that. I felt like I broke free. I call it a breaking free moment for me when I shaved my head bald. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to talk y'all to death. But I will say that when I did shave my head bald, I created 3 videos, which can be found on YouTube, which is entitled under my page. It's a playlist that's called My Journey as an Alopecia Beauty. And it's 3 videos talking about my experience. And it can be found, my name on YouTube is L is in Lisa, B is in boy, W, P, R, E, T, T, Y, and the number 2. Again, that's LBW, P, R, E, T, T, Y, the number 2. If you go to my page, even though you will see a lot of line dance videos, if you go down a playlist, you will see 3 videos. And I have 3 videos. One is titled I'm Not My Hair. The next one I think is called Breaking Free, Shaving My Head Bald. And the third one is called Life Gets Better. And I recommend that if you or anybody you know love is experiencing hair loss, whether it be from alopecia, cancer, or whatever they may be going through, I recommend that you point them to my YouTube site videos for them to look at, because I feel like this is one of my purposes in life, is to encourage others who are going through the same thing that I've already gone through, because I went from this low to feeling this way, big about myself, where I didn't feel that way. And if I can help anybody else that's going through what I've already experienced, I feel like, I'm serving my purpose, and that's what I want to do, be an encouragement to anyone. And if anybody needs to talk to me about it, I'm here to talk. Shoot me a text, email me or whatever. I'm always here, willing to listen and willing to talk to people about this, hair loss. Again, my name is Lisa, aka Cinnamon, and I can be found on YouTube. And again, thanks you, Cherie Johnson, for asking me to tell my story, dealing with my journey, dealing with hair loss as alopecia beauty. Thank you.